What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Code Peterson tutorial. Some more GB Studio. And I had someone ask on the chat if it would be okay if I had a tutorial showing some mechanics of a boss battle, and specifically with some different projectiles. That's what we have here. This is a game I've been working on called Serial Quest, and I'm about to release it out to everybody. It'll be for free to download and to play online, and I'll also put it somewhere online where you can download the ROM and all that too. But it's something that I'm kind of working on that's going to go along with a book that I've been working on too. So a fun little promotional piece. But this boss level is kind of what we have going on here. And if I show you here my sprites, like I wanted it to where I cannot come into contact with the boss at all, and the boss is going to be responsible for destroying their computer to pass the level. All right, so it's kind of more of me avoiding them and what they're shooting, and then the projectile from the boss is going to hit the computer, this master computer that controls what all these robots are coming from. So I did create a sprite of just a simple computer, and it has 3 frames, and I have the animation for it set for fixed direction and movement because it's not going to be moving. And then for the frames per second, I have no animation. It's 0 frames per second. So on default, it starts off with this picture of a computer. And then as you can see here, there's a little wear and tear on the computer. And then here's a lot of damage done to the computer. So that way, when you're playing the game, you could see when something happened to the computer. It's like, oh, I'll bet I need that computer to be destroyed there. If I go back here to the game world and I look at my scene 10, which is the boss level here, I don't want to show too much of the other game because I want some of it to be a surprise, but at least you'll kind of see what's going on with this here. So a little sneak peek behind the scenes also, I guess. Um, I have it on here where on display, this is my pause mechanism because of the layout of my screen. I couldn't really do a heads up display very easily because some of the levels are kind of more not on the scale of Metroid, but where you're going to be moving up higher than a screen length and further than a screen width. And so there was no easy way for me to do that. So I just did what I used in my other tutorials, pause, and then it says no boxes here because part of it is you're trying to find serial boxes throughout the levels, but it will tell you how many lives that you have. So that's my start menu on there. After that, I have on here a variable, and this is a global variable I made called comp hit for computer being hit. And I just have this comp hit being set to 0 at the start on init of this level beginning. Once that's done, then I just have a tiny display dialog here, a message from the boss. Your resistance is futile. I am Munchbot Prime. Soon your planet will belong to the Munchbots. All right, now playing through the game, you know that this computer is controlling everything else. So Munchbot Prime is responsible for running this computer and protecting it so that they can take over the. If I go up here and select on Munchbot Prime, I have up here a if statement. So one of my if variable compared to value, and I have if comp hit is less than 3, this is what's going to be happening with this. So, and this is on the on update situation. I don't have anything on in it or anything on hit because nothing is going to contact that. Now, technically, if I do run into the robot with my character, this is more for the player part. It'll remove a life, and if I'm out of lives, if it's equal to 0, it'll take me back to the very beginning title scene. If I have 1 life or more, it'll take me back to scene 10, and then it'll remove one of my lives on there and reset my player. That's kind of the only thing that would really happen that I need to worry about of this colliding anything. but I just as easily could have put that on for my character if my character collided with that boss. This is just the way I decided to do it there. But back over to this on update. So if it's less than 3, then what's going to happen is the first thing is the boss is going to be moving. So it's going to move X2 and Y5. And then you can see here it's going to move um, to 11 to 5. So it moves from there to there. And then after that, it is going to launch a projectile. And so that's just by adding event, launch projectile. And I created my projectile in a sprite sheet and placed it into here. So if you wanted to see what that looked like, it's nothing special, but this is just kind of what I went with. It was going to do some more things, but I just ended up going with this shape for the space. Like the other things weren't showing up how I necessarily wanted to, so I thought this would work fine. Okay, reselecting that. So it's going to move over to this spot. It's going to release a projectile, and the source is from the bot, and the direction is facing down. And then I have on here the speed of it is 1. Those are all variables you can change with. Animation speed is 4, but it doesn't matter because it's not animating through different frames. But then when we get here to lifetime, mine is at 1.4 because that is basically where the floor is. So when that sprite goes down here to the bottom, it disappears when it hits the floor. I gave this projectile a collision group of 3. And I put in here collide with player, or it can collide with 1. So it can collide with my character that I'm being in the game, or it can collide with a number 1 group 1 collision group, which is my computer. In this case on here, you can see it's a collision group of 1. All right, so it launches a projectile, then it moves to 14.5, and then it's going to launch another projectile, and everything was the same on this. It's facing down, so I didn't have to worry about that. I could literally just copy that from up there and put it underneath there. Then it's going to move back to the left a little bit further, and it's going to release another projectile. I just copied and pasted that. And then it's going to go back to the far left side. And you can see it's just moving back and forth and releasing these projectiles just wherever you want to space those out. Maybe you wanted to drop one every so many spaces or every so many tiles. I wanted mine to look a little bit random with it, so it's not really anything too major. And then once it gets all the way to the right and it drops one, then I have the boss now going all the way down to the computer. So it's like checking on the computer, doing its thing. And then it goes over to the far left-hand side. So basically, all I'm doing to move this boss is just moving actor to location. And you only have to do it through its series of movements once. And then after that, it's always going to just repeat until, a situation causes it to break out of that loop. So it goes all the way to the left. And then this is where it's a little different this time. So before up here, it's moving back and forth, dropping these projectiles down to the ground. Then it goes down here, checks the computer, and then it moves all the way to the left-hand side, and then it's going to shoot a projectile this way at the player. All right, now this is why I put a solid border up here, because I didn't want the character to be able to jump on top of the computer and dodge everything. I wanted there to be a little bit of an element to a challenge to it. So that's kind of why I made it that way. I may change it later, but it just works now for what I'm trying to do. So it'll fire it, and either that projectile is going to hit me or I can jump over it. All right. Now, what I did differently on this one was the direction, obviously. It's shooting to the right. And then for the speed, I have the speed and the animation the same. The lifetime, I have 2.5. And, it's just because it was a different distance on there. But also, I have on here collision group 3. It's still a collision group 3, and it can collide with player and 1. All right, so either this is going to hit me or it's going to hit the computer, one of the two. And then it's going to wait for 2 seconds, and then it will go right back up to the top, and it'll go through that pattern of kind of going clockwise there, trying to knock the player out of the game. When we see this down here for the else, so this would be if comp hit is, greater than 3 or whatever that you want it to be set at, then I have a display message on here. Critical alert, computer failure, serial returning to Earth, Munchbots offline. And then it takes you to the next screen, which will give you some messaging for the end of the game and all of that. Finally, on here, you can see if we select our computer and I go on hit with collision group 3, which is the projectile. Then when it goes on here, then it is going to give a screen shake on here. I'm going to increase my comp hit value. So if it starts off at 0, like it does at the beginning of this scene, and it gets hit, then it's going to go up to 1. Then I'm going to have a screen shake, which you can find in that add event, or a camera shake. And then I just had it be for 0.3 seconds, so something fairly short. And then after that, I have if comp hit is equal to 0, then it's going to be animation frame 0, which is this frame right here. Because remember, we start with the number 0 when we're changing that animation frame of an actor. Now, if that is equal to 1, then we go to frame 1, and if it is equal to 2, then it goes to frame 2. So that's what that part is on there. And the screen shake, I did test that out on my Analog Pocket and I have a Game Boy Color also, and the screen shake worked on both of those. I wasn't sure if it would on the original Game Boy, but when I burned this to a flash cartridge or to a actual Game Boy cartridge, similar to what I did on the earlier tutorial, one of my earlier tutorials on how to put a GB Studio game onto a cartridge and put it in, it shook the screen in there and had a good effect with it too. So I can confirm that that worked also. All right, so let's see what this looks like in a visual form. So here's our message. All right, we go through there. Here's my character. And before, we can see that Munchbot Prime is up there moving left and right, dropping these things. And if they collide with me, then it's the end of the story. It's checking the computer. I need to jump over it because if I collide with that Munchbot, then it ends my life also. And then you could see there that projectile hit the computer and shook the screen, and we see our wear and tear on the computer on there. So many times in those classic video games, you would see the repetitive boss nature, and learn the patterns, and you could. So this here is relatively simple, when we're doing this, but you can change the speeds and change the variation of how fast you want it to move and all that. And fire over here again. And now we have critical alert, computer failure, serial returning to Earth, Munchbots offline. And there is our game. So that shows you how you can make a boss level with a variety of projectile motion. And In addition to that, like if I go back over here and I select this again and on update, and down here where it shoots a projectile, if I want there to be a different projectile that it's shooting, I can certainly change that up. I could, have it be anything else that I made a sprite. And then if I wanted it to behave slightly differently, then I would just give it a different collision group here and change what I want it to collide with if necessary, or leave it the same. So yeah, you can have different projectiles for different bosses. Like when I'm thinking of Super Mario World, for example, for the Super Nintendo, and you have Bowser in that like flying flower thing that is flying around in. Um, some of those projectiles was that big ball when the flower would turn upside down and drop that big ball out of there. And other times, Bowser was throwing out enemies or something smaller out of the top of the flower. That would be kind of an example of different types of projectiles that would be coming from the same boss. And you can do those same things here also. Hopefully that helps with that idea and gives you something to try out. Let me know if answers any of those questions, or if I need to further kind of go into that a little bit more. And let me know what you think of an idea for the game of, or what your thoughts are for a game of Serial Quest, and anything you'd like to see of that game as we get closer to when I release that too. I'd appreciate hearing it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll catch you on another video.